This is a good spot to introduce surfboards, and today, welcome back to another episode of Wooly TV. This time, something very special. Kale Brock Designs Performance Mid in a Thruster. 6'7", 20 1/4, 2 5/8, 39.6, Futures EPS, so it's a stringed EPS. There you go, look at that. Oh, it's even got my name on it. 6'7", 20 1/4, 2 5/8, 39.6. Performance Mid Thruster. He does a twin fin as well. Super fun one. Did a couple of runs on it, it felt really nice through the turn, still really sparky, and it was enjoyable to ride, and it's an easy board to ride. Are you kidding me? Don't forget to support the brands that support Wooly TV. Star Surf and Skate, massive range of boards. They will pick it off the shelf, wrap it up, get it in a box and get it shipped out the very next business day, straight out to you. It's in an EPS construction, super light. I've got future boxes in it, so I'll be able to play around. Having a chat to Kale about it. He said in small surf he's been riding it as a 2+1, and in bigger surf just a standard thruster, so that's a combo I'm going to go with. So today we're here with Kale, having a chat about his new boards that he's been doing. This one's the Performance Mid, which is the one that I'm riding to review. So Kale, how did you get here? How did the board, where did you come up with the idea? How did you get here?
To put this into perspective, I did most of my R&D on the 6.5/20. And as I was mentioning to you before, the story was very much about trying to retain performance, but also have a big productivity gain essentially every session. So you're catching more waves, paddling easier, because I knew that was the audience that I was trying to cater for. But at the same time, I was also trying to cater for myself. I was being very selfish with it. I was like, I want to be able to surf this board almost like a shortboard. I don't want there to be a huge performance cost there. So that was the big balancing act, trying to get that ROI, that ratio, performance productivity right. And it took us about 18 months on this particular shape, and then I had another 18 months or so before that riding basically every single mid you've heard of in the industry and probably you've tested, and going through those and working out what I liked and didn't like and what I felt was missing from the space, and that's slowly how we ended up with this final shape. But I think a big part of what we did that worked, and something that we tweaked so many times, was the tail. Like what was happening basically from, you know, there and back, that almost that lower third of the board. And we ended up just sort of gradually flicking that tail. I'd been riding a lot of sharp eyes at the time.
Yep.
And I remember sitting with Marcio and chatting with him at just down the road here, and he was talking about the tail and how Philippe really loves that flick tail, and I was going, I wonder if that's the feeling that I love in the sharp eyes too.
Yep.
And I said, well, why don't we bring that DNA a little bit into this board? And we tweaked it a little bit for the twin versus the thruster. The twin also, we pulled the fins back a little bit further just for more control. But what we ended up with is a really refined thin tail, to the point where you could almost like chop it off there and it would exist on a 6.0 short,
sure.
You know. Yeah. So I think that's where a lot of the magic is, and then you just got that paddle, that tank up there.
I noticed that straight away when I was riding it. And same with the tail, it just doesn't have that area there, so when you get on a nice face, you can actually use the longer rail line to do a beautiful turn, you know, they still turn like a shortboard.
Yeah.
Let's just get it in the water and see how it goes. Board feels that good, so fast. It's like lively, and it's like you can feel it's really light for the EPS, but it just holds through turns. So far so good. That one was so long, I thought I'd walk back up. There's no way I was paddling against that current again. I need a break. That's perfect. Board feels great, so good, smooth, beautiful hold, really nice through carving turns. It's exactly like a mid should be. Really sparky, no negatives, not one negative from me. Good times, yoo-hoo! So even that footage, whatever it looks like, the best one's not on there. First wave was a cracker. Board feels good, really enjoy it. Paddles so well, catch into anything, get early entry, yet it still turns really, really well. And I had to set a large black sticks in that one, in the neutrals. I love the way it sort of transitions from bottom to the top. You can really get square off the bottom and push it right up in the foam. And if it's dropped the lip, you can actually ride up over the lip and drop down, and then you come in, back up again. It just feels really nice and smooth. I think that small sort of pulled in tail and just a whole combo with the concaves and the bladey little rails on it. It's just a really good, sweet board, and I'm enjoying it. So hopefully we'll get some more waves tomorrow on it. Let's go see how it goes at this little right-hander. Haven't been right on it yet. We'll go and have a crack at it. First time I'd gone right on the Kale Brock. Actually felt pretty good, and that was really weird, hard waves to surf, like foaming out the back, fat along the middle, then a little closeout section. So I've still been able to throw the 6-7 because it's a lot of board. Still been able to sort of carve it, pivot it, and throw it up into the lip. So felt pretty good. One of the things that I noticed straight away with the board was the flat deck with like the chamfered rail and going down to like a down rail.
Yeah.
And for me, the performance elements around that are really good because you've still got all the paddle power and the flat deck, which is really nice and stable. But when you get it on rail, the rail feels not bulky, feels nice and refined. You can push through turns on it.
Nathan Tumman, who was at that time doing a lot of the shaping for Album in Australia, he had made me a few boards, just little random shapes, and he would call this a step deck. He's like, yeah, step the deck for you, step the deck. So that name stuck in my head, and mostly out of that experience, you know, there were a few gems there, but they were never the mid-lengths, right? And I said to the guys, I said, I really love the look, just the aesthetic of the step deck, and I also knew functionally speaking it would add in a lot of volume without having to go wider, without having to go longer.
Yeah.
So that was the original intention, just pump volume into the board and also have that side benefit of gaining this nice aesthetic. And then once I started working with the guys and going back and forth, they're like, well, because the way you want to do that rail, it's naturally going to end up being quite hooked under there, like a shortboard rail. And functionally, in the end, that ended up being a really great attribute for the board because we wanted it to surf very much like a shortboard. So we've got the volume there, but as you said, that rail is nice and tucked there, it's nice and low, so you're just holding the water. You know, you're holding the water really well, and that's that feeling that, you know, we're all after, is that hooking turn where you're not going to slide out, you've got control. Yeah. Actually have found, I think, that it's improved my shortboarding because I hold turns longer, I'm a little bit less twitchy, and I'm pushing my board a lot more than I used to. Maybe it's almost like I'm training on this with a weight belt on. And once I take it off, I'm on a shortboard going, oh my god, this little thing, easy.
Oh, I totally agree. Like jumping on the longer rail on a mid and then jump back to your normal everyday board. All of a sudden you take a different approach, your turns are more drawn out, but you've got all the speed and looseness and twitchiness of your shortboard. It's kind of cool. Let me take you for a ride. What a day, Wooly TV. The sun is. Don't want anyone to recognise me. Challenging, but there's no one out, one guy, so we're going to go see how we can get a couple. Woo-hoo!
Frozen road,
Yeah, bumpy ones. I was out there by myself for most of the surf. Kind of a little bit spooky, overcast. I really like the way it held off the bottom. Holds really, really well when you push hard through the bottom turn. And then, but when you get in the open face, I did a couple of wraps on it that felt really nice. Even though the board's longer, it still got some open face and carved through the turn. Felt really sparky and it was enjoyable to ride. And it's an easy board to ride. There's like heaps of volume, almost 40 litres, paddles really well. Although it was a little harder to duck dive than normal. I did cop a couple on the head, but that's all right. So far, so good. Let's keep surfing on the KBD. Yew! That's pretty fun. Got a couple. Board felt good. Bit of backwash was pretty hard, but for a big board that's 40 litres, it's a lot of fun, especially with the 2+1. Actually freed up the tail and felt pretty good. So the board's quite light, and you can feel that when you're riding it. It doesn't feel sluggish at all. I think in the PU, you get a bit more longevity, less dense out of it, but it would definitely have a bit of an impact on performance in small waves. So if you're planning to surf this one in smaller surf and you want to surf it more like a performance board, I'd run the EPS. If you want longevity and you're not too worried about extra weight, go for the PU. Rode it as a thruster, rode it as a 2+1, just had that last session on it. I really enjoyed the MR fins. That was a good combo. It just loosened the tail up a little bit and you could push it through turns and get a bit tighter in the pocket than I could as a thruster. So as I explained at the start of the video, one of the main differences with this board compared to other mids is this dead flat deck that then tapers off down to a pinched rail. So even though it's thick across here and lots of area up under the front foot and in the chest when you're paddling, it still has this tiny little rail on it, the way they've shaped it on the, I don't know if you can see it in there, but kind of, if you have a look at my hand, there you go, can you see that shape? It's pretty different to a lot of boards, but it's in a positive way. Like, it had a really good push through turns, The rail engaged really well. It's got quite a lot of tail rocker, so you can really pivot on the board, and definitely with a 2+1. Like I said, paddles well, carries over dead section well, creates speed really easily, and is super maneuverable for such a big board. So even though the board's 39.6 litres, you'll see from the footage, I can maneuver it around quite easily. This guy's in the EPS, so it's an epoxy board. It is quite light. For me, I really like the EPS. Even in the bigger surf, the first surf I had, I was kind of excited about that. That was a while back now, but that left-hander, I was just throwing the board around. It was holding really well. It was super bumpy. It doesn't look it in the footage, but that wave was actually super bumpy. So the board does handle that. In WA, we get a lot of bumpy conditions, a lot of wind, a lot of wonk, and the board handled no problems at all. So I could recommend this one for an intermediate surfer, a beginner not a beginner, but in the beginner intermediate level. Go longer, get your volume. It's a good progression from coming off a longer board where you want something that can turn. For a good surfer, intermediate to good surfer, go probably up around 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches from your normal board, and you'll get the benefit of the paddle, but know that you can still turn it on a nice tight arc. A lot of fun. As far as mids go, this is one of the better ones I've ridden. Thanks, Kale from KBD. Appreciate you sending this one over. Thanks for coming into the Shape and Bay with me and having a chat. Really helpful. Talk to you all soon. Stay tuned. Lots more reviews coming up. Yeehaw. Woo! Ooh. Yeah, you're good with that seatbelt, eh? Testing, testing.
Ian!
Hey, there he is. Move. Designs Performance Mid in a thruster. So, Brucey, what did you leave in the car when I got the best wave of the session? What did you have in there, Bruce? What was it that you left in the car?
Might have been a camera.
Oh, you're pretty hard to film without one of those, Brucey.
Alright, Ian, the dash cam is on.
Oh, we got the dash cam on. That's good. Well, you'll notice I'm still holding the steering wheel, being very safe. Most of the waves I've ridden it in for the review, and even outside the review, have been...
What happened?
Yeah, no, I like the soundtrack too. I like it how you don't ever put your seatbelt on, yet you know every time you get in this car it's going to beep without it on. Oh, Kale Brock. You wouldn't believe what I'm doing right now. I literally just picked your board up and I'm standing in front of a camera on my phone. Hang on. You can't see me. No. How do you even know you don't even know I'm here. It's invisible. Well, look, this one. See that? It's magnets. I was just losing it. Board, the guys whose boarders will be going, what are you doing, mate? You can't put that on my board. All right, the review is over. Stop watching, you're wasting your time. Go and find something more meaningful to watch on YouTube. Like a physics channel, or even a fishing channel. No, it's over. It's time to leave the review. Press the next, up next, just press anything, get off it. It's finished, the review's gone.